Hi everyone, I hope you're keeping well in these peculiar times. I just wanted to encourage you today to dare to hope in Yahweh. So it's a tough time. Many people have lost their families and friends in such a short period of time, not to mention the added pressures of financial insecurity. But even through these times, let me tell you, Yahweh cares. He wants you to rely on Him. Yahweh is saying, cast your burdens on Him, for He cares for you. He wants you to know this because it's so important and it's such a hard time, and it can cause us to go in a downward spiral and be overwhelmed with anxiety because that's what we naturally do. But Yahweh is not calling us to do what is natural, but to do what is supernatural, which is to rely on His strength, to let His supernatural strength overtake our lives, to let His truths and His promises overtake our lives. Jeremiah the prophet is an example of someone who lamented, someone who suffered heartache for Jerusalem. He knew what it meant to grieve. He wrote the book of Lamentations in a time of national grief and mourning. He said in Lamentations 2:11, I have cried until the tears no longer come. My heart is broken. Further on in chapter 3 verse 18, he says, everything I have hoped for from Yahweh is lost. For us, it can feel that way. It can feel like the rug has been pulled from under our feet. But guess what he did in spite of everything? He dared to hope. But what was this motivation he had to hope? Where did it come from? Knowing of Yahweh's unfailing love. Yahweh's love never fails. It never ends. In fact, in the New Testament, Romans 5:8 states that Yahweh demonstrates His own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Messiah died for us. So it goes to show that Yahweh's love has stayed the same throughout the ages. Let us remember that it's not dependent on what we do right or wrong. It's not based on our abilities or inabilities. He loves us because that's who He is. His love is tender, it's sweet, it's incomprehensible. So bask in His love. Enjoy His presence. So because of His deep love for us, we can also love others deeply and do His will. His faithfulness. He will never leave us nor forsake us. He's not one to abandon us when things aren't going well. He's not like mankind who let us down and fall short when we need them. He is faithful when we're not. He's consistent when we're not because He can't deny who He is. He's trustworthy to do what He said He will do. He's a promise keeper. His mercies. Yahweh's mercies begin afresh each morning, meaning that with each coming day, you don't have to rely on yesterday's mercies or yearn for tomorrow's, because Yahweh is able to offer His compassion daily for the troubles, the sin, and the pain that you face. So do you need His mercy today? Seek His face. It says in Hebrews 4:16, let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. He said we can obtain mercy. It's for us to receive. Let us remember who Yahweh is. Our inheritance. Now, when we think of inheritance, the things that come to mind are property and possessions of family that have been passed down. It feels good, right? Not having to worry about taking out a mortgage because you've inherited a house would give anyone a sense of security and relief. But as much as that is a blessing, it only lasts for a time and cannot be taken with us when we die. But through knowing Yeshua, we gain much, an inheritance of high value that can never decay. We can have security and a peace of mind knowing that our eternal destinies are anchored through Yeshua. Let us continue to set our eyes on the treasure, that is Yeshua, for He is better than life itself. His love is better than life itself. I also want to encourage those of you who may not know Him, or perhaps you've backslid. Let this be an opportunity to receive Yeshua in your life and rekindle the fire. Now, you may be experiencing guilt, shame, fear of not knowing what to expect, even pride. No matter what it is, let the love of Yahweh tear down the walls of your heart, for he will not reject a broken and repentant heart. Confess your wrongdoings, be honest with him. Yahweh is faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Let Yeshua do the transformative work, whilst trusting that he is able to meet all your needs, because he's in the business of restoration and he's glad to receive you into his arms always. You're not defined by your past mistakes or failures, because he makes all things brand new. Your identity lies in him only. So, we might be in lockdown, but our spiritual lives don't have to be. Let us dare to hope in him at all times, because in the midst of everything, Yahweh is able to comfort, restore, and bring us to higher heights in our faith. Yahweh's timing is perfect, and he is able to do the impossible. Yahweh bless you all.